So, welcome back, my dear friends. This is episode number, I guess it is 130. Is that right? It's 31. So, this is episode number 131, and today I have with me an amazing guest and a very, very interesting conversation that we are going to have. I was already talking to him, and I'm so excited to learn and know so much from him during this interview. Before I go on to him, just a short intro about me. So, I am Vishnupriya. I am a holistic healing practitioner. Maybe it could be a good kind of name I can give to myself. I've been certified in multiple different holistic healing modalities, and it was all very quick in the past 1 to 2 years that I got certified in so many different modalities. And I was like, wow, this holistic healing world has literally changed my life upside down. And it was like, this is so beautiful. How did I not even know about that? This holistic healing world exists in this world. And I'm living for 20, 25, 30 years now. So I guess that wow feeling led me into creating this thing called zeropointhealing.com. It is a web directory that I have created for all holistic healing practitioners of all different holistic healing modalities. So if you are a holistic healing practitioner, you can go into this directory, you can put yourself in there, as well as if you are interested in this kind of a interview with me, you can also contact me for that. If you're a client, I have a good news for you. So the zeropointhealing.com consists of so many different practitioners who can literally help anyone with any challenges that you are facing in any areas of your life. So that's what kind of amazed me when I came into holistic healing, which is regardless of which area that I have issues with, whether it's finances, personal life, relationships, fertility, anything, you name it, physical health issues, regardless of what the issue is, there is solution. So now I live my life with that kind of sense of safety and security that I guess as human beings, all of us kind of, crave for. I got it when I got this holistic healing world. I know that regardless of what challenges I face in my life, there is solution for it, and there is so many people to help. Literally, the directory is filled with so many different practitioners who have unique gifts. Each one comes up with so unique that they are, and the beautiful tools that they have is like, wow. I personally have had sessions with at least 100 plus people on the site, so 100 plus practitioners who are registered, and everyone has contributed so much into my life. So that's my short intro about this magical creation of zeropointhealing.com. And now I come to my beautiful guest here. So welcome, Henry. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being with me on my show here. It's my absolute pleasure to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and you might want to unmute yourself first.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Vishnupriya. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into this holistic healing world. And maybe you might have been in a different profession. So tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was not something I ever thought that I would do. I grew up in New York City. It was a very traditional New York City upbringing where my father was a businessman. I it was holistic healing was not part of my family or part of the conversation. I went to college and I was a liberal art, I studied liberal arts, although I was an econ major, and then was in the working world for 20 years, including in business and including co-heading an investment fund. And but throughout this period, I had health problems that Western medicine couldn't answer fully. It made some difference, but it couldn't crack the code. And was lucky to find my way to a woman named Beverly Chapman, who on her mother's side is Apache, and she was a practitioner of the Apache. Her family's Apache spiritual healing tradition, and she helped me to break through to a level of health that I had been hoping for a number of years. Uh, I am a big believer in Western medicine, but sometimes you need more, either as a complement or as an alternative. But my wife and I, amazed by what happened, we started studying under her, and over the last 15 years, saw a number of people and animals experience remarkable healing that their Western doctors did not predict. And so in 2019, we started a foundation, the Pinchos Foundation, which is through which I do my work. And it I was just amazed by what we saw. So the goal was to bring spiritual healing services and classes to more people. We also, the bulk of the foundation's resources are dedicated to equine rescue. Because we support the efforts of others, because horses are just amazing animals. And so that's the background of how I got to where I was. I like the business world, but it was just too compelling what I saw. And so I made a shift.
Wow, what a journey. And very much, very kind of a little similar story I have. As I said, I had been going through all of this business world. I did my MBA. I was an engineer from my background. And then all of a sudden it was like Reiki healing. And then there was some other kind of modalities that I past life and all of the stuff, spiritual stuff. And I went like, wow, how did I even live in this world without knowing, all of this information? Okay, so now let's come into our title for the show today, which is spiritual healing. So tell us a little bit about your unique type of healing, is what, as far as I've kind of spoken to you, it feels like. So tell us, how do you do the healing sessions, and what's how do you deliver it, and your uniqueness with how you combine different of your knowledge and awareness into providing these healing sessions?
Sure, thanks. There are two broad approaches. One, as you said, is what I would term session work, which can be done on video or remotely, or it can be done in person. And I call those maybe wellness sessions. And in that work, there can be a variety of energy work, including hands-on or distant Reiki. I may do energy center balancing. We may, if it's in person, spend some time in nature. Uh, and and we'll spend time talking about whatever is on the person's mind in terms of why they've come to me in the first place. Uh, Everything I do is spirit guide led, and our spirit guides in the Apache tradition um, are the way we tap into Creator's infinite wisdom, uh, light, and people may wonder, well, how do spirit guides help you? And well, it's a couple ways. One, it's hard to wrap one's mind around it, but things happen in the spiritual world before they happen in the physical world. And quantum physics is maybe getting closest to trying to explain how, because time is very flexible or malleable, and our spirit guides can see a bigger picture that we in our human shells living in a three-dimensional world have trouble seeing, but our guides can see the bigger picture, so they can inform us what's needed in a given situation. And so everything I do is spirit guide led. And those are what I would term wellness sessions. But very often, my preference is a deeper healing work process. often it takes time for illnesses to manifest themselves. I talk about heart problems, and often before people get really serious issues, their blood pressure may be higher, or they may have increasing cholesterol measures. And because illness takes a while, it doesn't necessarily heal that quickly. So in a deeper healing process, the first thing I'll ask my guides is, am I meant to do this work? Can I help the person? And if the answer is yes, we'll come to an agreement of work, which generally the amount of time we'll work, at least to start, what the fees are so there are no surprises. And then I'll do at least one deep healing session on the person a week. It doesn't have to be, I'll do it whenever I set the time. The person doesn't have to be with me in person or by video. And I'll read emails, which I'll discuss in a second, that I ask clients to send me, and I'll provide protection and watch over in terms of clearing negative energies out of the person's home and from them. This kind of protection, put a protection for the person, spiritual protection. This kind of work, I think, is somewhat unique to native traditions, clearing out the darkness, although it's present in other traditions as well. As for the person I'm trying to help, I'll ask them to send me probably daily reports of how they're feeling physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I'll ask them to send me their dreams and write them up in detail, because our spirit guides speak to us through our dreams. And I'll ask them to write me about whatever it is I've asked them to do to try to improve their health. I mean, usually, for example, if there are relationship imbalances in their life, I'll ask them to share with me what the kind of progress they're making and what I've encouraged them to do. If they're self-acceptance issues, I may ask them to write lists of things they like about themselves, which people have trouble doing, but once they're nudged to do it, they can come up with a lot of things they like about themselves. And I'll ask them to read this list every day or every other day. And so I'll ask them to write me about, in their letters, I'll ask them to write me about these experiences. And so based upon their dreams, how they're doing, what they write is going on, I'll be able to tailor ongoing recommendations for them.
Wow, there are so many different questions that's coming up from that. So first of all, I guess spirit guides is a conversation that we might have to have, as you were saying. Uh, so tell us a little bit about spirit guides. If, let's say, somebody watching this video not yet knowing who spirit guides are, how they work with us,
Yeah.
why do they kind of work with us, and all of that. So can you explain a little bit about that and your personal experience with how do you kind of, let's say, talk to spirit guides? How does that look like?
Sure. Well, thanks. Our guides are with us all the time. We can't, some people can see them, but they're right with us, but in a different dimension. And sometimes they'll communicate with people in images or colors, but it's like having a conversation. And it is so valuable because they can see the future in a way that we can. And again, that's a quantum physics type of thing. And because they're in a different dimension and in spirit form as opposed to physical form, they can more readily access creator's wisdom and creator's light. And having access to that intelligence in a greater way than we do, they're in a position to give us that wisdom in how we might proceed. It's incredibly, it helps tremendously in terms of proceeding in a peaceful way. And honest to God, it's true. It's my wife and I will have occasional squabbles like any married couple, but in terms of small decisions like what are we going to have for dinner, what are we going to do, to major decisions like how are we going to handle our son in this situation, to what we were meant to do in terms of going out or not going out with COVID, we, after researching it, talking about it, thinking about it, our spirit guides do not release us from doing the work to try to make our decisions. But in the end, once we've done the work, we can ask them, how should we proceed? And that's what my wife and I do, and others I know. And that just makes it so much easier to not fight and figure out how to proceed. So it's a very powerful way to proceed in a more insightful way in our lives. And I teach classes on how to connect with our guides. So it's magical, actually.
Beautiful. And when you're communicating with your guides, is it in a meditational state, or how does that happen?
Well, I'll set up protection and spiritual shields to make sure the information's coming from light, not darkness. But literally, it's a conversation like you and I are having. I'll just at the beginning of each day, I'll call in Creator, I'll call in my guides from light, and they're with me, and I'll just ask them a question. It's not like I'm hearing yelling, but it's coming into my head, and it's clear that it's clear to me that it's not just my subconscious mind thinking. It's definitely some outside entity with whom I'm having conversation. But just like we're having conversation, only I'll ask a series of questions about what I should do about this situation. How do I handle it? Do I do this now? Do I do this later? What's the best way to do it? And then something, if one has done it for a long time, one literally can have their guide speak through them. And that is, and which is also Creator speaking through us. And so that means that communications are coming from a loving place, which increases the chances of saying the right thing. And, I'll say, should I, often I'm trying to decide, should I say this to the person? Do they need to hear this message, whether in a healing context or just a friend of mine? A friend of mine is having struggles, for example. I will, and I'm thinking of saying something to try to be helpful. My guides might say, no, don't say it, or do say it. Or another idea will get planted in my mind and say, oh, should I say this? And the answer is yes, you can say this. But all healing work is guided. And I'm just, I think a lot of traditions believe this, that we're just conduits, creators, arms and legs on our planet. And the Creator provides all information and all healing. So that's one of the reasons why I never call myself a healer, because, I think it's true that Creator provides all healing and all information. And therefore, to call myself a healer is to really give myself credit for Creator's work.
Yes, and I truly resonate with that. And certain modalities that I did was exactly what I was kind of learning, that which you're kind of talking here. So beautiful. Now let's talk a little bit about dreams. I guess that was one other interesting topic, and then we will move on. Maybe we'll have a 5-minute conversation, and we will move on to the beautiful kind of session that you have for us. So tell us a little bit about dreams. So personally, for me, I have been having kind of different types of dreams, and I had been always questioning, okay, what's this dream all about? So let's say in my case, I was seeing snakes in my dreams, and this kind of was happening, recurring, let's say at least for 6 months, not every day, but at least once a week, I was seeing a dream where I kind of see the snake, and it feels like I'm running away from the snake. There's some kind of fear element in that as well. So so you said that dreams are my spirit guides giving me some message. So how do you interpret that scenario that I've kind of said here?
So one of the reasons I ask people to write their dreams is so that I can study it and work with it for a while, because some dreams are very complex, and I want to work with my guides to interpret them. But what comes to me quickly about your dreams is snakes. In the Apache tradition, all animals have medicine, if you will. They have messages for us. Like ants are very disciplined; they can carry multiples of their body weight, and they work in a very socially organized way. So if someone sees ants, either just sees ants or has a dream about ants, well, the universe has conspired to bring that ant to the person. It's no accident. And so the message will probably be the need to work in a more disciplined way, to carry a bigger burden, because that's what the ants do. And so that's their medicine. In the case of snakes, snakes shed their skin very rapidly. So it's letting go of the old and creating the new. So repeat dreams about snakes, what comes to me quickly is that you were getting a recurring message about the need to make some rapid changes in the area. The quickness with which snakes shed their skin speaks to not just change, but rapid change. And the fact that you're scared of the snakes suggests that, may not be right, but it would suggest to me that you were afraid of the changes that you were supposed to make. Now, the fact that you haven't had these dreams in the recent months suggests that whatever the issue was is no longer an issue, that you've handled it.
That's right, yes. And I guess at least for the past 1 to 2 months, I hadn't been seeing any of those dreams. But at a point in time, it was like constantly different kind of snake dreams was coming in. But yes, I totally resonate with that, because I also see for the past 1 year or so, the changes that I'm going through in my life, it's like huge transformation since the time I entered into the holistic healing world that I'm in. Yeah, it was just only 2 years back I was doing some other business, and it feels like I was in some other world. It feels like a past life to me now, and now it feels like a totally new avatar that I've taken. So yes, I totally resonate with the messages that you gave there. So beautiful. So you said in your healing
Very,
sessions, sorry.
yeah, very cool. I was just saying.
Right. So in your sessions, then you are mainly you're in conversation with the clients and doing the distance kind of healing sessions, right? So you also mentioned that maybe people don't have to sit with you, you're doing in the background while they can do whatever they would like, and then there are email conversations that's happening between you and the clients. Would you be also kind of giving maybe some kind of feedback to the clients after you do the session? What was the messages to them from their spirit guides, or how does that work?
Definitely, definitely. Based upon what they're talking about and what I get, and it can be in person. It's not as intensive or detailed as in the deeper healing process, but absolutely, I'll get information, and because we'll be talking, and then something will come to me, and I'll share it with them. Uh, and and so, I mean, that's the goal, is not just to provide a temporary energetic boost or a quick something, but to try to, based upon things they share, hopefully come up with recommendations or help them to understand why what's happening in their life is happening in their life. Our body gives us messages. And I'll give you one quick example from my life where I had anger issues, and I was often angry at the key people in my life, a temper. And one of the symptoms I had was toxicity. My body felt toxic all the time. I think most people would agree that anger is a toxic emotion. And the more I was able to manage and control and eliminate my anger issues or my temper, the less toxic my body felt. So, and you can correlate many body symptoms to some type of physical issue, whether it's an actual physical issue or a circumstance or situation in someone's life that's bothering them. You know, as someone I know who did some work on, you know, kept having untrustworthy relationships, and this person's parents got divorced. It dawned on me that they were drawing people, he was drawing someone into his life, people in his life that he didn't trust. And the reason for that is he learned from his parents that, you know, your key relationships, you can't trust the person in your life. So hopefully that insight helps to make a change in the going forward relationships.
Wow, beautiful. Yes,
Can
yes.
you hear me? I can't hear you right now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now? That is.
Not so well.
I see. Yep, I can still hear you, so you can go ahead with the short healing that you wanted to kind of give us, the sound healing. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right,
Can you
beautiful.
hear, can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, I can. Looks like it was some internet issue. So let's begin with the beautiful gift that Henry, my dear viewers, Henry has a beautiful gift for us with his sound healing. Let's begin.
Yeah, I mean, with just by brief introduction, the sound itself is valuable, but it's also carrying positive healing energy. So that was obviously a drum and a rattle. So this is a rain stick. It's solid wood, and inside they're either dried beans or corn that makes the sound. And I find it very peaceful to do it.
And yes, it was beautiful. So, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful thing. Do you want to kind of let us know if the people watching this video would like to book a session with you? Is there kind of a consultation? How can they kind of reach you?
Sure. A good email address is info at pinchas.org, pinchas.org. And I welcome phone calls. My phone number is 917-860-7945. Thank you.
Wow. And did you say there is a consultation that people can kind of come talk to you before they book sessions with you?
Yes.
Okay, okay, that sounds great. And I guess we are good with the 10% off discount coupon as well that you want to offer clients here.
Um, I actually, I think I'd like to offer 10% off, but again, the fee can very much differ for given sessions and what is needed. So I'll offer 10% off what it would be.
Okay, sure. Yes. So, my dear clients and my dear viewers here, so Henry has that beautiful 10% off from your first booking. So, when you contact him, just let him know that you found him from 0 Point Healing, and he'll give you that beautiful 10% off there. So, thank you so much, Henry, for such a beautiful conversation. Thank you for sharing with us your wisdom, your awareness, your knowledge, and all your beautiful gifts here as well. So thank you.
I'm honored to be with you. Thank you, Vishnupriya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear viewers. So I'm gonna see you in my next show. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel so you get access to all the videos that we are creating here for you. Also, you can share this video with any of your friends, family members who would be benefited out of this particular video. Thank you so much for all your support. And thank you, Henry. I'm gonna see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.